Central Park Racing. It's back. February 10th for this race. It's nice out. 45 degrees or something. It's the 3-4 field. I had a bit of a plan for this race. First thing was, personally, training that I've been doing over the last few months has been really steady stuff. Endurance, tempo, pretty much no structured intensity. I've been throwing in Zwift races and group ride here and there, but mainly endurance miles. So I know that keeping it steady is pretty important. And the other thing is there was this one dude in the race, orange helmet, from Princeton. You can see him up there. He's either first or second wheel, who I knew in previous races, even like park races, he'd just like ridden off the front. So I figured that he was going to kind of dictate things. He's going to be a good person to anchor to. So what I was just doing there was moving up. You're able to see him right there. So the plan was basically just like stay near the front. I thought there was a chance of a break going, and just wanted to stay near the front to be on it. Also, shout out to the dude that's on the front right now. From the gun, this guy hops on the front, starts drilling it, eating all the wind, not pulling off, like really stringing out the field right from the beginning of the race. And I'm like, oh, this guy's a Zwift racer. I looked him up afterward. Kyle. He ended up finishing third, I think. He just did that for the entire race, and also this was apparently his first real life race. He does all of his riding on Zwift. So, that classic Zwift fitness. But it worked. So basically my plan here is like stay near the front. I don't have surgy fitness right now. I don't have much of a punch, but I'm feeling pretty fit. I've been riding a good amount. And I'm pretty confident that I have the pace for a relatively flat race like this if I'm in good position to stay near things and then maybe even push the pace a little bit and follow breaks. So I'm feeling good here in fourth wheel. This is about where I want to be. Actually, these three guys in front of me are the guys who finished 1, 2, 3 in the race. And I wanted to continue working this. I think one thing that I'm not particularly good at as a racer is going to be important if I want to start doing a little bit better is I don't really hold wheels super aggressively. I'm like a bit of a pacifist. I like to compete. I like going fast on my bike. I like going faster than others. But in terms of like fighting over wheels, I don't really want to do that. At least at this point. I don't want to do that bully stuff. So we got this guy here. He surges up. He wants to be near the front too. I'm not too worried. I'm like, sure, you take the wheel. It's not really a good racing tactic. Like, I do think that in general, I have fairly easy demeanor, especially in races like this, where I know that I'm generally gonna be able to have the pace. So I'm not too stressed when people want to jump ahead like that. It's like not smart racing. And you'll see here how decisions like that very quickly compound. So I lost that one wheel, and now I'm out of the draft, doing bigger watts, and things had slowed down a bit, and one wheel can turn into several really quickly. So here's like a mini swarm right here. So I'm like fourth wheel, great position a minute ago. Now 5 new guys are ahead of me, and I'm also out of a draft, eating wind. So I want to get back to where I was, but because it's not a good idea for them to do it like I did it. No one's letting me in here. It's not going crazy fast right now, but still wasting energy that I shouldn't be. So I'm spending this bit of time here trying to get back in the pace line. I believe my teammate Greg, he's coming up here. Yeah, give him a little hand wave, so he let me slot in. So now I'm back in, no stress. But I lost 4 positions or something like that. I'm back in the pace line. And Kyle, the Zwift killer, takes a little bit of power off the pedals. You see the watts drop, and that means here comes the field. So when it kind of slows down, it gets a little dicey, and the swarm comes. So I lose, 5 positions here, if not more, in a second. And when it slows down like this, it just gets a little bit more dangerous because it gets tighter, kind of curb to curb. There's actually a crash coming up right here, or maybe right at this corner. Guy was just a little too hot coming around the bend. He was like right on my right hip, and I could just kind of feel him, like he was not leaning into it properly, and he went down. Now here I am. I've lost a ton of position. And another thing that's important is coming up here is a corner that's somewhat technical. This first one wasn't as technical. The second one was. So here's the first one. It's kind of sketchy stuff that's going on. You saw that bump right there. The first time around, it was not smooth. So you're able to see here, like, this guy, like, skids to the right. So it's just, like, not a great position here. And that one wasn't that bad. It's not like I need to do a huge surge. Didn't lose that much speed. But it's not smooth. I'm in the washing machine. And the second one here is more technical. And there's not much that I can do to really move up at this point. I'm just focused on trying to keep it as smooth as possible. But that didn't really happen. So I don't know what happened with that guy here. He skidding there. So I got a little frustrated there. Like, never anything personal though. This is the 3-4 field. We're all amateurs. Everyone's trying their best. It's difficult to take corners at speed. I wouldn't say it's something that I'm particularly good at. And for me, the problem can be solved not by relying on others to take the corner smoother, but by actually holding better position and staying towards the front. So, at that corner, we slowed down to 16 or 17, and it was already strung out because it bottlenecked at the corner. So then by the time we're hitting it, it's slowing down. The guys on the front might be doing 30. The gap is just ripped open. So you can look up the road there. You'll see it's totally strung out. And I'm not too stressed at this point. Like, I'm able to close the gaps. This is only a second lap, so people are relatively fresh and holding just decent speed. And then the lead group's right there. You can see them. And I feel like this is a bridgeable gap, or there's a chance that it comes back. So I don't quite think that it's time to jump, but I'm monitoring what's going on up there. And on the first lap, like, what I saw was that they were kind of looking back and easing off. On this one, not as much. So it seemed like there was the guys up the road and, like, Orange Helmet, Zwiftman, NYCC guy who won the race. They're all up there. And it seemed like it was a little bit more spirited to stay on the pedals and stay away. So I'm cognizant of that. And it seems like this is going to be a bit more serious of a chase. So people start going, trying to make the bridge. I still feel like it's pretty under control, but, like, this is a sloppy chase. We're not unified at all. It's kind of every man for himself. One man going here, one man going there. And at this point, it's becoming a little bit more clear that chances are the group's not going to get back to those guys on the front. It's just like a couple guys here kind of surging when they can. It's all disorganized and it's not smooth at all. We're carrying decent speed. Going 35 here. A little bit faster than that, so I'm happy to sit in the draft. And I don't want to burn my match until I have to burn my match. So I don't really have that punch right now. So they're still relatively close, but I see Greg didn't get across. And it's like, all right, I'm going to have to make my move sometime soon. It's just a question of when. Now, the best time to do it probably would have been here, but I just surged here. You know, had to get on the pedals a little bit here. Kind of slows down. There's this little uphill, and you also see them, like they're close. That gap's pretty small. So we've slowed down. So if I had the gas, this would have been a good point to surge. Close the gap. And I think this one guy, yeah, NYCC guy comes across. This is a good moment to go. Then I'm looking at the gap. No one else has it on the pedals. I think this guy's about to signal. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, time to go. So I go. No one follows. Kind of an epic view here. Closing the gap, city in the foreground. Am I going to make it? I'll let it roll. Alright, so I make it. And I'm hurting a bit, but I'm feeling good because I've executed the plan. I'm in the break. It was dicey, but I made it. So I'm hoping to just kind of sit here and recover in the wheels a bit. And I say something really silly.
Missed the break, guys!
So I think I said this because we had slowed down a bit. I kind of wanted them to stay on it so that the brake would stick. They already know they're in the break. They've been hammering for the last 5 minutes. And either the guy decided that he didn't like the sound of my voice, or he was like, all right, we got to put some power down. And he jumps. Gap just rips open. Look up the road there. 5-second gap opens immediately. And I'm in horrible position once again on the back. And I'm gassed. And this is not looking good. Big gap. Guy's looking around. So it's like 5 chasers here. And I have recently burnt a match from that bridge, and I don't quite have the punch, so I'm like hoping, all right, hopefully the guys at the front let up, or maybe someone will be able to help me get across. So I'm on this guy's wheel. He's not even closing the gap to the guys in front of him, and I'm hoping he's conserving. That was not the case. So he's kind of pedaling squares at this point. And I'm like, all right, this isn't the ticket. I'm going to have to do something myself. There's already a sizable gap to these chasers. And then the guy behind me had been getting a draft, so he surges. I don't really have the snap right now. And also I figured, like, if I snap, there's a chance of me totally burning myself out. And I don't think I'm going to be able to make this bridge similarly to the last one I did, where I was actually going faster than the break. I'm going to have to get lucky. They're going to have to ease up a little bit. So I want to measure my effort here, and I'm going to have to get a bit lucky if this thing comes back. But didn't. Power comes down. So I'm pretty gassed at this point. And I'm doing my best to just kind of roll steady here. I could still see him at this point. But like, it was surgy here. I mean, we have this guy who's just barely up the road. There's another chaser ahead of that. I think there's one chaser in front of there. And then there's the lead group of 5. So it was split up. It got pretty selective for a flat race. So I'm just doing my best to stay around threshold, which was about all I had at this point. But I'm just not going that fast. And it's pretty clear that if this comes back, it's going to be because the lead group let up, because I got lucky. But they didn't. So I didn't catch on. Sucks getting dropped. Never fun. Feels cruel. All this time that you spend on the bike, and then especially like when I kind of had a plan. Not too long ago, I was sitting there executing the plan, and then it just all slips away pretty quickly. And yeah, so I got dropped a couple minutes ago. I think really where I got dropped was, if you think back to the beginning of the video, when I'm around here, when I'm losing wheels, and then going into that corner when it's strung out, that gap was opened. That was really where I was in bad position to stay in it for the race. So I don't know if I would have been able to hang with them for the entire race, but I mean, my steady fitness is pretty good right now, and that's what I was looking to bank on. Surgy stuff, not so much. And then how I raced required me to surge. I needed to close gaps and burn matches instead of doing longer sustained efforts, which is more aligned with what I've been doing right now. Always something to learn. But racing's back. Peace.